Hello and welcome to the 7th installment of Empower Yourself Self-Defense. As always, my name is Elizabeth, and today we're going to be talking about blocking and evasion. Blocking is one of the most important things in self-defense, in karate, and anything like that, because if somebody's attacking you, you're either going to get hit, you're going to block, or you're going to move out of the way. So this video is going to be really important because it's going to teach you how not to get hit. So the first set of blocks I'm going to talk about is going to be the 8-point blocks. In karate, the 8-point blocks are the very first system of blocks that's ever taught to a white belt, which is basically the first day that anybody ever takes karate, you'll learn the 8-point blocks. So this blocking system is basically the most simple, but it's also often the most effective. The first two blocks, numbers 1 and 2 of the 8-point blocks, are circular blocks that go around to block a punch best to the midsection. If you don't really understand how these work, just think like you're scooping up ice cream, and it'll actually make it really easy. So if somebody's punching to your stomach, you can just block around, it blocks it to the outside, and it gets the punch away from you and allows you to be able to strike back. The next two blocks, numbers 3 and 4, are inward blocks, so they block in across your body. These two, same thing as 1 and 2. It goes across, and it's really good for a punch to the midsection, so it blocks to the outside. And this, same thing, it gets the punch away from you, so you can hit them back. Blocks 5 and 6 are a little bit different because they're overhead blocks, so it's best for like a hammer to the forehead or just a punch to the face, so it blocks straight up. And these blocks are actually what we talked about in the last video, if you saw that. But one thing to keep in mind is always to make sure it's at an angle. So if somebody's punching you, it's blocked at an angle, not just straight down. And the last two blocks of the 8-point blocks are 7 and 8. So they go up to the opposite ear and across and down. These are good for either a punch like to the groin or for a kick. So it just blocks straight down, blocks the kick away. And with this one, you gotta be really careful that you don't go too far with it or you don't go far enough. But you have to make sure that you actually block the strike and get it away from you. The 8-point blocks are unique in the fact that they're really hard blocks. So because you're using your whole forearm and your fist is tensed and it's closed and you're gonna actually basically strike with these blocks, there's a lot more force behind it. So they're considered hard blocks. So now that we've talked about some hard blocks, we're going to talk about some softer, more gentle, more deflecting blocks instead. So the first open-handed or softer block that we're going to talk about is just going to be the palm block. So basically, if somebody's punching you in the stomach, it's a nice simple palm block across. It deflects more than like actually hits, so it's just kind of softer, but it can also be faster. So because there's a lot less power behind it, it's a faster deflection. Because if you're trying to do the whole nice strong block all the way across, it's going to be a lot slower because your muscles are tensed. But if you're just doing a palm block, it's really fast and you can deflect things more easily. The second open-handed block that we're going to talk about is just going to be the outward knife hand block. So as it sounds, it's going out, it's blocking with the knife of your hand, and yeah. So if somebody's punching you in the stomach, it's just an outward knife hand block, blocking out to the side, getting the punch away from you, and allowing you to actually do more. If somebody's attacking you and you don't really know how to do some of the more intense blocks or more complicated things, my suggestion is just to put your hands up. In karate, we're taught to do the whole en garde and like all the fancy blocks and all the maneuverings. But if you just keep your hands up, protect your head, protect your stomach, you can just move them up and down, and you can just deflect punches off of you without really even doing anything. So now that we've touched upon blocking a little bit, we're just going to talk about evasion. So basically, avoiding people's punches, moving out of the way, and dodging. So with evasion, in order to get away from somebody's punch, assuming it's just a nice simple front punch, there's 3 different things that you can do. You can step back, try to get out of the range of the punch and have it stop before it hits you. You can step to the side and let the punch go by you, or you can step forwards and to the side on a diagonal to also let the punch go by you. So the easiest thing for beginners is often to just step to the side of a punch, because if you go back, somebody can just keep extending their arm or step forward with their punch, and you could still get hit anyway. But if you step to the side, you have a better chance of not getting hit, and you're still at a good distance from your opponent, so you can continue up with more attacks. Another thing you can do is remember just to stay on the diagonals. So if you need to move closer to them, but you also need to go to the side to avoid their strike, if you go to the diagonal, you step forward but go to the side at the same time, then you'll be able to punch them and you're still close enough to punch. One important thing to remember with evasion is that different kinds of strikes have different distances that they need to be effective. So if you're back far enough, then you can't kick, your opponent can't kick, you can't punch each other, can't really do anything at that length unless you're taking steps or jumping or any fancier stuff. If you're getting a little bit closer, then you can kick, but you still can't punch. But that also means that your opponent can kick. If you get in closer than that, then you can punch, but you're too close to kick. But they can punch you too. You just have to keep in mind that if you're too close, you're too far away, you can't really do as much. So when you're moving in closer, you're probably going to have to punch. And if you're just going to the side, then you're probably going to have to kick. Basically with evasion, the most important thing is just making sure that you avoid the attack that's coming at you. So if somebody's trying to punch you and you go backwards, that's okay because you're avoiding the punch. And it also gives you more time to figure out your next step and what you're going to do, instead of getting punched and getting knocked out and then having a whole range of other problems. So if you move backwards, that's okay. Moving to the sides is probably your best bet, but the diagonals are also good if you want to get closer. I think that's it for today, so hope you enjoyed the video, hope you learned something. The next video is going to be on takedowns, which should be a lot of fun. So if you have any questions, let me know. But other than that, stay safe.